1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Pew, pew. Pew, pew. It's a little bit difficult to capture this, but the glass and the red dot really hold up well against bright lights. So a contrast environment like this, it's hard to see the reticle when you're looking at a light that bright, but it holds up pretty good. You'll now notice in the darker environment that there are red speckles on the glass. That is nothing but water. So the water is actually reflecting some of the illumination back towards you. I think those are on the inside of the glass, because the outside you could actually see ever so slightly in the foreground, but there's a lot of water on that. That was not really an issue as far as any sort of feedback. It was just, clouded the clarity a little bit.
I don't think he was picking it up. Now, if really? If I really wrapped the shit out of it,
started 6 years ago.
it didn't seem to follow us.
That's good, man.
Well, like I said, it's a random down.
Well, the plan is once we move,
I
we get
did
a main
put
house.
2 letters in there, and I did
See
wrap
what kind of
one
money you
separate.
are?
The second time I wrapped it, it came out, but.
See, for me, there's a problem, she takes
This is a pretty typical performance for a little reflex like this. Both the Vortec and the Burris that I had tested both had similar fisheyeing and magnification as well as green tinting to it. So as far as the 3 of them that I've reviewed, they're all relatively similar. What I feel is still one of the coolest features is that no matter where you have this in relationship to your eye, the reticle does not change sizes. I think it's just fantastic. Every time I witness it, it blows my mind. This is a white silhouetted mini IPSC target at about 60 yards. Pew pew. Pew pew. Pew pew. Pew pew. Pew pew. The Holosun 507C. Let's get right down to the nitty gritty. I like it. It's as simple as that. It is heavy. If I was putting this on a pistol, maybe with I haven't taken the bottom base off, but even with that, it would still be a lot heavier than the other two that I've reviewed. However, this worked great on my Ruger PCC, something that I would truly consider leaving this on. However, the 515 is just a little bit better. It's got a little bit better glass, it doesn't have any magnification, and I prefer the 65 MOA circle to the 32 MOA circle in this. I do feel that gets a little cramped when you're shooting at finer targets, especially at a distance around 50 yards or beyond. It's just a little bit too tight. But if you're shooting this inside 50 yards on a pistol, it would be awesome. The 32 MOA is a good size to give you about a rough idea about where you're going to shoot, and the 2 MOA dot is perfect for precision shots. I really like that both this and the 515 have a 2 MOA center dot. It really eliminates the need to have a larger center dot because of that circle as well. So they complement each other very well. Even though I still think that the 32 MOA circle is a little bit too crowded, but it was never to the point where I couldn't effectively use it. So just a little bit of a nitpick. Another slight nitpick, but it's ever so slight, is the batteries on the bottom of the actual unit. You have to remove the lower base, but guess what? It not only has a solar panel on top to charge it, but it's also rated at 50,000 hours. You're never going to... It would take you years to leave this on at probably a medium or low setting before the battery ever ran out. And that's if you just left it in your gun safe. Not even if you took it out and used it from time to time. However, everything's not all peaches and cream. There is a little bit of distortion to the lens, slight magnification. All these little red dots and reflexes have them. It's just something that you got to just get used to. Another thing, the buttons are a little bit too small on the side. I understand why they did it. They didn't want them to protrude too much that you accidentally bump them and change your settings. But if you wanted to make a quick adjustment, you really got to use your fingernail, if you have any, to press them. If you use the pad, you really got to squeeze it really hard. You could see that underneath my fingernail is turning white to get it. So they're a little bit difficult to get to, but again, just a nitpick. The one nice thing about this is if you do shut it off, it turns on again at its last used brightness setting. So does the 515. Regular feature on it. This is also shake awake. Overall, I really like it. For a carbine, I think it's a good setup. I would trust it, even though I prefer the 515 just, again, a little bit more. But if I had to choose, if I got this for free, I would certainly not complain about it. It would get used a hell of a lot. On a pistol, it might be a little bit heavy, but for you, it might be perfect. It all depends on what you want. I do like it. They are very well made, and it withstood several hundred rounds of 9mm perfectly fine. So I wouldn't rule out that the longevity of this red dot's going to be questionable at all. Well, that's basically it. Again, a huge thank you to Geoff for lending these out to me. I really appreciate it. And thank you all for watching. See you again next time.